everyone. Welcome to the first ever TuneCore Tuned In. I am Maria Hoburge. I'm the global head of communications for TuneCore. I'm so happy that you all could be here attending in person here in Dumbo and also virtually over Facebook and YouTube. We are all so very excited to let you know what we've been working on, share some success stories, and pass along some news you can use. Woo! Ultimately, we are here to support you with what you need to grow as independent, self-releasing artists. And now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Andreea Gleeson, TuneCore's CEO.
Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how excited I am to finally have this event. We've been planning it for months. And, we're deeply passionate about you all and your growth and supporting you. And so to have this come together and be able to do this all together around the world, what I'm so excited about is that we have artists literally from Asia and Europe and Latin America live streaming. So welcome to everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And also for our the incredible artists that are here in our headquarters in Brooklyn, thank you for braving the winter. It is very snowy and slippery out there, and it's so good to see so many familiar faces and some new ones that I've just seen listen to your music, and here you are in person, so thank you very much. January, while a cold month, is a very special month for TuneCore because it is the month that we open for business. So this is our 18-year anniversary. And over the years, a lot has changed. When we first started, downloads were what was driving growth for artists, and now it's streaming, and now it's social media, and who knows what's next. But one thing that's stayed constant for us is that everything we work on is to support you and your growth. And we've always been focused on blazing trails. When we started, that meant removing gatekeepers and allowing artists to be able to put out music themselves. And that, at the time, 18 years ago, was a very novel thing. You had to be signed. And what stayed in our DNA is that we want to continue to support that goal, that goal of driving your growth, and that's transitioned. It's no longer enough to actually just put your music out. Right now, there is more content on the streaming platforms than there ever have been. I think the stat is like there's 100,000 tracks going to all the DSPs every single day. And so, the big thing, and we'll talk about this a lot today, is how do you find and grow your audiences? And that's what we're focused on today, to make sure we keep setting you up to have the things you need to succeed. So a little bit about what we're going to cover today, if I can go to the next slide. And excellent. So 3 areas of focus. We've done a lot. I mentioned that we're really focused on what's going to help you grow. Throughout 2023, we implement a lot of new features, built new programs. I want to walk you through some of those today and why we did them. And then how are they doing? So share that with all of you. Sending emails or posting it on social media isn't enough. So I'm so excited to have this time to actually explain some of that. Second area we want to cover is that we would like to show you what's coming next. So what is ahead in 2024? We have some amazing projects about to launch in the next couple of months that you should know about. And lastly, I want to cover what should you know about. I think of artists, you all are entrepreneurs. You're wearing lots of hats. Many times, in addition to recording, creating, performing the music, you're also your own social media manager. You're also just a manager, booking agent, lawyer, etc., all the hats. And you need to be informed about what's going on in the industry in order to really be the one in the driver's seat on your career. And we want to share an important topic with you all that you all should be educated and know about. So, I mentioned our focus. At TuneCore, it is our priority not only to help you get your music out, but that we help fuel your career, that you're able to grow. TuneCore is the place that artists can start and grow their careers. So let's start first in talking about what kind of growth have TuneCore artists seen. So last year, I'm excited to share that you all released more music and had more streams around the world than ever before, with 170 billion streams collectively for music released through TuneCore. That's all you, in 252 countries, so literally all over the world. So let's celebrate that, because that's incredible. And then we're going to go through the initiatives we launched last year, but I want to talk about how we kind of decide on the things we launch. And it all starts from the feedback you give us. So when you write into artist support, when you speak to one of our team members in the artist and partner relation team, when you make a comment on social media, when we send you a survey and ask you for feedback, we take all of that in, and it helps us inform in what you need. And also, we look at what's happening in the music industry to anticipate what you need next. So last year and going into this year, we've prioritized 3 areas of focus that ultimately, again, our goal is to help you grow. And how do we do that? Number 1, we want to help you all make better music. So, number 1, you have to have good music if you're going to find listeners that want to listen to it. And so we're partnering with partners building tools to actually help make your music better. The second area of focus is around helping our artists become better known. So many of you release incredible music. You just need to find listeners, right? So how are we helping build the right programs to actually get your music into listeners that would love to find and listen to that music? And then the last area is back to all those hats that I mentioned you all wear that it take up so much of your time, is how can we streamline things to actually make your life easier with what we build? So there were 5 initiatives I'm going to cover today, and they'll dovetail up to those 3 areas of focus. I'm going to start with the first one, which is splits. So what again, going back to the feedback we get from you all, one thing we know is that artists are successful are cross-collaborating. Many of you I see actually in the audience collaborate with each other. And there's so many benefits with doing that because, 1, it pushes you creatively back to the making the better music. And also, it helps you cross-pollinate your audiences with those other artists so you can find new fans. And what we found is that we were not set up to actually help you do this in a streamlined way, and we needed you to make it easier for you to collaborate and not be accountants, because that's one of the hats you all were having to wear at the end of the month. You got your payment in on the release that you put out through TuneCore, and then you'd have to Venmo your collaborator their money, which is like really painful. So we implemented split payments within TuneCore, and now automatically every month when the release gets paid, it just goes out to all of your collaborators automatically. And today, 1 in 10 of our TuneCore accounts actually have splits implemented, which is exciting. And over 100,000 tracks have been split. So if you're not using splits, this will take your hat of being an accountant off. So, which I think many of you would like. All right, next project, number 2. So electronic music artists gave us feedback as well. They wanted Beatport. If you're not familiar with Beatport, if you're an electronic music artist, it is the destination to find avid electronic music fans, and also tastemakers. This is where a lot of the DJs go to find artists to put in music to put in their DJ sets, so it can create incredible discoverability. And what we found is that Beatport wasn't set up to actually work with open platform distributors like ours. They were typically only available for distributors that had signed artists. But we worked with them over the course of several years and finally built a partnership and made Beatport available to all our electronic artists last year, which is hugely exciting, again, leveling the playing fields. And in conjunction with that, we've rolled out 33 additional electronic genres because there's a lot of nuance in electronic music. And the fans really like to find their specific genres. And so now that has also been implemented for our artists to find their audiences even better. So very excited about that program. If you're not distributing to Beatport and you do electronic music, be sure you are distributing to Beatport. All right. This is the third project. Very, very important. So something you all don't think about, but is essential to your success, is getting paid. That is how you fuel your next projects. And over the years, I mentioned TuneCore is 18 years old. Over that time, we've had more artists using our platform. We added 7 currencies, and we have more of you all being successful. So every month, there's more and more payments to pay out. And last year we hit the milestone of our TuneCore artists earning $3 billion since we started. So yeah. Absolutely incredible. So that's a lot of money going through our platform every month, and we needed to upgrade. And so we did. And right now, what I'm excited to share is that we are now processing our payments to you all 4 times faster than the previous royalty payment solution. And to give you a context of what that translates to, on a big posting like Spotify, sometimes it would take us 2 weeks to do the one posting for the month, because there was just so much to be paid out in so many accounts. And now we are doing 3.5 postings a week. So really, keep earning money, we can support it. So very, very important. It's something that at the end of the day you're not thinking about, but we have to make sure we're setting you up for your success, and we're really proud of being able to bridge this. Fourth, I want to talk about AI. So AI came to the forefront as an area in the music industry in the spring. And I think what was interesting for me to see is artists were using it in a couple ways. One, they were using it to actually help them in their creative process. AI actually has been in the music industry for a long time. Auto-tune is a form of AI, actually. But in the DAWs, in new creator tools that have been coming forward, how can artists engage with AI to actually help them make music more easily and make their music better? The other area we saw artists using it is with their social media to help them with coming up with copy more efficiently and streamline some of the processes with imagery and messaging. And so this obviously hit 2 of our key priorities. How do we help make our artists' lives easier? And then also, how do we help them make better music? And so very, very early, we're very early in figuring out how AI will really be used in the music industry, but you can see there's some positive benefits that can come from it. There's also a little bit of fear, and it's uncharted territory. Anytime you're in uncharted territory, I think what you have to do is think about how can I not be afraid of something new and create some principles by which I will start to participate in new technology and do it responsibly so that I take advantage of learning early and not being like, oh, I'm not going to participate in that. So what we did is actually we went back to all of you to get feedback, and we did a survey back in May to all those that responded and gave us your feedback. It was hugely helpful. And we asked you a few key questions. We asked you, number 1, are you using AI? How do you feel about AI? And how are you using it? Second, are you planning to use it? And in what ways are you thinking about using it if you haven't used it yet? And third, what are you concerned about? All that feedback, along with working with our industry partners, really helped inform our 4 pillars for responsible AI, which I have noted here. So number 1, consent. You need to consent that you are participating in an AI opportunity. Second one is control. So even if you consent, how do you have control in that process of how it will actually be implemented? Third is compensation. Are you getting paid? Very, very important. And third is their transparency. And as we've been approached to work on various partnerships, we've put it against these 4 principles to make sure we're being responsible in how we're engaging with AI and bringing those opportunities to you. The very, very first partnership and early test that we did was with Grimes. it was really interesting as all of this was kind of unfolding in the music industry in the spring, is that Grimes came out and said, hey, I actually don't have a problem with my voice being transformed and having an AI version of my voice that artists can collaborate with. But you have to pay me 50%. So I was actually at IMS, and her manager was there, and so was Grimes, and we talked about it, and we said, why if we make a blueprint to actually help artists be able to do this in a streamlined way and apply these principles? And so we launched a distribution partnership where you all can actually go use the AI version of Grimes's voice and do the transformations and bring it back into your music, and then you can essentially distribute it through TuneCore, set up that 50% split, and have the full transparency, thus really illustrating how we've implemented our 4 pillars. Very early use case, very specific. There will be more, but we want to start applying how are we going to engage with AI in a way that creates opportunity and ways for you all to continue expanding your creativity and opportunities. So more to come on AI. This is just the beginning, but really important topic that's at the forefront of the music industry right now. All right, we get to talk about my favorite, TuneCore Accelerator. So yesterday we just put out a report on the very first results of our TuneCore Accelerator program. And they're very exciting. So little background on what informed what we built for TuneCore Accelerator is what I mentioned earlier, that there's just more content going to the platforms, and it's very difficult for you all to find those first audiences and build your avid listeners and create deeper connections with your fans. So TuneCore Accelerator was inspired to actually help with just that. And what we've done is worked across the music industry with partners at the DSPs to take advantage of marketing programs coupled with technology that we built to help implement and pick tracks from your music and put them into these various opportunities, depending on what stage of your career you are in. And this technology that we built that's proprietary to do this track selection and putting them in and out of programs was built in conjunction with our parent company, Believe. So if you're not familiar with Believe, Believe is essentially runs across 3 different verticals. One is artist services. So this is signed top artists, often some of the top artists in a market. They have label and artist solutions, which is signed distribution deals. And then there's TuneCore. And the experts that are running the programs for the artist services and the label and artist solutions, who are developing artists, helped us inform how to build this technology to actually help you all grow. And how this is translated into is the 3 goals that we have for the program is around 3 key priorities. Number 1, when you're first starting out, how are you having your music discovered? How are we driving the first engagement of a new listener, finding the music and being like, this is amazing. Who is this? Bentley. Oh, Bentley has this other amazing music. I should really start following him. And if you don't know Bentley Robles, you should. He's incredible. So, and he's right here. Next, okay, you find a listener. Okay, how do you expand that audience? Okay, you're seeing traction in Austin, Texas. Okay, let's build on that, et cetera. And then third, how do we then, you have your fans, how do you make sure that they are become not just there for one release, but for other releases in the next project? And you're creating that deeper fan connection. And so what we've done with the program is built 4 segments by which we look at where an artist is at, and then are moving them very thoughtfully with this technology through different promotional opportunities to get their music in front of new listeners in the programs that would make sense for their stage of development. So as an example, the start segment is for artists with less than 1,000 streams. So this is where you're finding your very first fans. And then as you advance and move into the next segment, it would look very different than marketing programs you're in with Amplify, where it's for artists with streams between 1,000 to 10,000. Going on to the maximize segment, which is really those more advanced artists where you're creating much deeper fandom. What I'm so excited about this is, again, it's very, very, very early, but we have over 80,000 artists that have been put into the program already. And what we've seen is that 10,000 of those artists have already seen such significant streams in the DSP platforms where we have the programs active. Their streams have grown 143%. Yeah. What that translates to is that 1 in 8 artists have access to a higher segment. So it's really you're moving up development. And what I'm so excited about is, some of you may have seen in the news, that some of the DSPs are exploring putting thresholds where you would begin monetization. And 1,000 streams is becoming kind of like a threshold for that. If you look here, you can see that we've had, of those 10,000 artists, 5,600 of them were in that early phase. So they have now advanced into moving what will be the monetization threshold. They grew their streams 561%. So this is, again, early but very exciting. So then we wanted to look at, okay, well, how does this translate to genres? How does this translate to geographies? So we can understand how our artists are in this program are really, really growing. Looking at genre number 1, we look at 2 dimensions. One is there discoverability in the streams? So this is a listener that had not seen this music, heard this music before, and are they now discovering it for the first time? Second is, what impact is it having on total streams for tracks in these programs in the DSPs where the program is active? So looking first at the discoverability, what we can see is that for hip hop, there was 660 million incremental streams from a discoverability perspective for the hip hop tracks that were in the program, a growth from the prior quarter before the tracks were in the program. So really, really, really meaningful. And in Latin, it was a 590 million increase. So really significant numbers here. And then for the impact on total streams, country and Latin both saw a quarter over quarter, over 30% increase, which is really, really significant. And then geographically, this is the last stats I'm going to share this round, is that we're seeing that the growth is happening from around the world. And even in a developed market like the US, we saw a 16% quarter over quarter increase in streams in the DSPs where these programs are active. And then in Brazil and in Latin America and India, we saw the biggest growth rates internationally, with Brazil up 37%, Latin, excluding Brazil, up 23%, and in India up 16%. So this is very exciting. We're on to something with this. And this is going to be a program we're going to be building on over the course of the year. So look out for more, because ultimately we want to add in more marketing opportunities to actually impact having these results for more of our artists to ultimately help them grow. So with that, I would like to transition, because we have a few artists here who have been in the program and can talk about the results they've had directly. And I want to bring up my colleague, Brian Miller. He is our incoming Chief Revenue Officer, and he is going to take it from here. Please welcome Brian.
Great, thank you, Andrea. So you've heard all the amazing things we're doing in 2023, but I think one of the more incredible things is to hear from the artists themselves who benefited from that. So I'd first like to welcome Avery Sunshine to the stage. So Avery Sunshine is an R&B, soul, and gospel singer who's based in Atlanta. She's been with TuneCore for almost 15 years. Through the TuneCore Accelerator program, she's had 500,000 more streams through the program. And tomorrow, she's releasing a new single called Lift It Up. Please check it out. Our next amazing artist, Princess Superstar. Please welcome her. Princess Superstar has been releasing music for 25 years. And in 2018, we
30.
Oh, sorry. Even better. This makes the next fact coming up pretty impressive. She moved her whole catalog over in 2018 to TuneCore. Through the TuneCore Accelerator program, she increased her streams in 1 quarter by over 20%. And her hit, Perfect Exceeder, is now number 10 on the dance billboard. Please give it up for Princess Superstar.
Comedy hour.
The big challenge is
Honestly,
making
get in
sure
the
we
seat.
got the chairs right.
Yeah. We got it.
Now look, these are 2 incredible established artists, but so many artists that use TuneCore are just starting out in their career. And as we're the place to help them develop, I'd love to hear about your early experiences and why you chose to become an independent artist.
Yeah, I'll go. Good morning, everybody. I am Avery Sunshine. Would you take this and sit it down?
Of course.
Because if I do it, I'm gonna tip over. I think that was the only option for my husband and I, indie artists. And you look at me, and when you started at 15, 20 years ago for me, they're like, she's a little bit too big for that. I don't know if that R&B soul thing is gonna work. So we bet on ourselves, and we just did it. So being independent was not necessarily something we chose, it was something that I feel like it chose us, and it was the best decision we could have ever made.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of my story too. Like, I started my record label in the 90s. I'm very old. And, and I did have major labels around me. Then I had like a bunch of success in Europe and was signed to different labels. But the thing is that I just, at the end of the day, like, I like to own my stuff and do it my way.
Absolutely.
And this is amazing, TuneCore, because in the 90s, I used to have to go put my record in stores, like in Tower Records, and pretend I wasn't the artist. Be like, you gotta hear this,
I remember that. I remember.
And that's incredible. I think, look, there's so many challenges of being independent artists, right? I think it would be great to hear some of the challenges you faced throughout the points of your career, and then how TuneCore has really helped change that.
Yeah. I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah.
That, going to my husband and I, my writing partner, Dana Johnson, right there, when our first, hey sweetheart, you can do your hello, baby. When we put the first album out, we jumped in my Kia Rondo. Y'all probably don't even know what that is. Tiny little, it looks like a clown car. We jumped in that. He had his guitar. The 2 of us, we drove up and down the East Coast, taking the album to every mom and pop shop we could find. And what TuneCore has helped us do was use that time to create some more music. We're not doing that anymore, thanks to TuneCore. But
Amen.
I do. That doesn't mean that we should not still support. I know things are so much different now, but it really did mechanize that getting music out.
Yeah, exactly. And also getting paid right away. Like,
getting
so
paid
instead
right
of
away.
instead of like waiting till March and you're in December and like, I need this label to pay me. It's
Absolutely.
like, let me just log in and get a little cash. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, it's really great. Like,
Absolutely.
and that, we need that as
Yeah,
artists.
yeah.
So it's really, mechanized the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's amazing to hear. And I think, obviously, a big part of the music is reaching more fans.
Yes.
And so I'd love to hear kind of how TuneCore Accelerator has helped you do just that.
Well, I think it's really helped me find like a new audience for me because, it's like if you go as long as I have, you really need to find new audiences. So I'm really happy with the Accelerator program. It's helped me like with my streaming and
I have notes.
Even better.
Just so you all will know, just from Spotify, working with Accelerator, I gained 1 million new listeners.
Sorry, how many was that again?
1 million
million.
new listeners. 102,000 saves. I just have to do this. 89,000 playlists. Wow. 5.9 million streams. 5.9 million streams. 1.6 million listeners. 182 countries.
So we have 70 to go.
But I needed to make sure that I made that abundantly clear that TuneCore has been a leader and a huge partner for in my career and with my husband and with our companies.
Thank you.
So you can see it. I didn't make it up. And the thing about it, which is amazing, y'all, that's just Spotify. We haven't talked about Apple Music. We haven't talked about any other platform. So that's I don't even know what that number is. So
And I think that's the exciting thing, right? And as Andrea said earlier, we just launched TuneCore Accelerator, right? We had about 80,000 artists participate. We're going to expand it to more artists. Now, everyone might not get the same tremendous success, but the goal is to help you develop and progress the new segments, find new audiences. Yeah. Now, as you mentioned earlier, getting paid, right? How has TuneCore Accelerator helped that?
Well, it's great. Like I love the graphic, like 4 times faster. You know, I think like as an artist, you just need your money like fast. You know, it's just like, and you put it right back into the what you're doing. And so I love that. It's fast. It goes right to my PayPal. I love it.
Yeah, I need some new shoes. I go right to that. No, it's the truth.
The new release is going to help with that.
Oh, come on, new release. You better keep plugging away from me.
It's good too. I heard it. It's fucking good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Last question, personal one. So I have an 11-year-old at home. Would love to sing. Yeah. What advice would you give to kind of future aspiring artists?
Well, we both have kids that are musicians, actually. And my daughter, she's 12, and actually she has a little record out on Spotify. So check her out. She's called Siren Ortega, and she plays all the instruments and writes the song. And when I try to help her, with the music, she's like, "Mom, get out!" Anyways, but the advice I would give is just to do your art because you love it, because it's like from your soul, and don't just put on the shelf what the world's reaction is gonna be. It's so important. Here I am sitting with a top 10 on the Billboard Dance, and I've been making music for 30 years, and none of them went to Billboard. Wow. None of them, and I just kept fucking going. You know, so it's just keep making your art because it's from your soul, because you have to do it, and that's it.
Yes. I'm so honored to sit next to this brilliant woman, and she's she's a pastor. I say that. Let me tell you, because she gave us a word in the back, and she said, "Keep going." So my first album, my husband and I, straight independent, we put out. The person that was mixing and mastering it said to us, and we fired him, by the way, but he said, the guy who was going to master it, excuse me, he said, you're only going to sell 2,000. Don't press too many, because you're only going to sell 2,000. From that album, we had a top 18 Billboard hit. Our second album we put out, we had a #1 song called "Call My Name." I'm saying that to say, keep doing. Would you say keep going and fuck everybody's advice?
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna praise you, and they're gonna hate you. Praise, hate, whatever. It's the same thing, right? Absolutely. At the end of the day, of course, we like the praise, right? But just keep in your lane, and then keep people close to you that you respect their opinion about your music and your art, and trust them. Don't trust the people you don't even know. Absolutely.
I would say even watch some of them too, because their purview is not the same as yours. Some of the people who are close to you, yes, you listen, but I say just be careful, because they don't see the same thing that you see. In your dreams, they don't see the same thing you see. Literally, from where they're standing, there's no way she and I can see the same exact thing. So just keep that in mind when you do hear people talking about, what you ought to do, you need to change the key of that song. All right, when you write your song, you change your key. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
No, it's the truth. It's so good, and don't listen.
Don't listen.
I mean, I started in the '90s as a rapper. They were like, "No, you can't do that." I was like, "But I want to."
And you did. Yeah. You did some of the dopest shit I have seen in my life or heard. Is to hear, she said in 2006, is that when you released your song?
Yeah, the one that's on the billboards right now was from 17 years ago.
And then the movie Saltburn that it's in is based in 2006, clearly,
Yeah, in England.
in England. But right before this happened, you said you were through, right?
Oh yeah, so this is so crazy. So basically, I had a nice little career in England and Europe. So in the 2000s, like I was on the pop charts over there, but nothing in America. And then, I rode that as far as I could. So like 2010, my career started like kind of shriveling up. And then I went through like a lot of like, I can't write anymore. I'd sit down to write and I'd be like, nobody gives a shit about me. Like, I'm done, I'm washed up. Like all that bullshit that every human being has in their head, right? Yeah. And so then I was just like, I worked through that. I did a lot of work on myself. And then I just was like, I'm going to sit down to write again. I'm just going to do it for me. And I'd put out stuff and like, nobody listened to it. Like, it was like nobody fucking cared, like.
Sorry, where are you on the Billboard now?
10.
So there we go.
I kept going is my point. And then boom, 17 years after that hit, it's in Saltburn. And then everyone's like, oh, I always loved you, Princess Superstar. And like, but it's so amazing,
Yes.
It's like, you can't make this stuff up, but that's life, right? So, but what is success? But when luck hits preparation, like I kept writing and kept releasing. And now people are going back to my catalog on TuneCore, so it's pretty cool.
So great. So thank you both so much for
Thank
joining.
you.
Please give a very warm hand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. So we just heard about two incredible artists, about how TuneCore is helping them find more fans, keep making their music, and making their lives easier. Earlier, Andreea talked about all the things that we did in 2023, but we're not stopping. So I'm going to talk about one of the amazing things we're launching in a couple months, and one of my colleagues is going to speak about the second one a little bit after me. So TuneCore Publishing. Oh, there we go. Great. So look, most of you artists know that when you distribute a song, right, you're going to get digital recording revenues. However, if you compose your own song, there's a whole other category of revenue you can be entitled to, the performance and mechanical royalties. So there are literally hundreds of places where you could earn more revenue. However, as an independent artist, keeping track of that is incredibly challenging. And if you're not managing your publishing properly, you're literally leaving money on the table. There's 15 to 20% of your total distribution income that you could earn if you own 100% of your composition. Now look, some of you probably belong to a PRO, and if you're registered, they'll pay your writer's share. Now maybe you have a publishing entity with them, which you'll get some. However, there's certain royalties that a PRO doesn't collect. So for example, there's mechanical royalties, there's royalties from apps like Reels, TikTok, YouTube, and there's also international royalties. Now, in March, we're launching an updated publishing dashboard. Now, what that means for you as artists, you're going to have access to best-in-class features. So when you use TuneCore and TuneCore Publishing, all your data is going to be in one place. And what that means is that TuneCore can track everywhere in the world where you're releasing songs, and we can track the publishing royalty for you. That means you're going to earn money globally. Next, with our new dashboard, you're going to have analytics on all the places they come from. But on top of that, with TuneCore, you get full transparency. There's no black box. You'll see where all your royalty revenue comes through. Last year, our parent company, Believe, purchased a best-in-class publishing company called Centric. With Centric, by using TuneCore Publishing, they are the most efficient and accurate for registering your compositions globally. So with them, that means you're going to have better chances of getting paid everywhere your music is released. And last, With TuneCore Publishing, you can sign up for syncs. So that means your compositions can appear in movies, commercials, ads, and video games. So with TuneCore Publishing, we're going to help you make more money. With our new features that are relaunching, it'll be easier for you to see them. You'll have full transparency. You'll have best-in-class technology with Centric. And with TuneCore, you keep 100% of your copyrights, 100% ownership of your compositions. But that's not all. We're still doing more features to help you. So I'd like to introduce our VP of Product, Dipanjan Kolhe, to talk about another upcoming release.
Thank you, Brian. I'm Dipanjan. I'm the VP of Product at TuneCore, and I want to talk about the Artist Release Tracker. This is one of the key features that we are working on this year, and a little bit of our thinking around product in general in 2024. So a little bit of background is when we launched unlimited pricing that allows you to release unlimited number of releases for an annual fee, we saw a huge increase in the number of releases distributed on our platform. That's like a 50% increase. Now, with that, it led to a proportional increase in the volume of support requests that our support team gets. And 1 out of 6 questions that artists ask the support team is, where is my release? So you've submitted your release information, created your cover art, and you've entered metadata and your audio, and now you're waiting, right? And what do you do today? It's not easy to get an answer, right? So you go, you reach out to support, and you wait. You go check the apps, and you check Spotify, and you check Apple. Is my release up there, right? So we wanted to look at this problem, and we wanted to improve the experience for the user. So that's where the release tracker feature comes into play. So with this one, we have 2 key goals. The first is make the artists' lives easier by making this information easily accessible to them on the TuneCore site when they log in. When you log in, it's easily there. You don't have to reach out to support. The second is use this as an opportunity to celebrate your release as well and make it shareable. And hopefully, with that, we can help grow the artists a little bit more, help you be a little better known. Now, this is not the only feature that we are working on, that we are focusing on. We are also trying to build several features like this that will help us build a more automated distribution and a publishing platform in 2024 and even beyond. So at a glance, what this feature will do is it gives you comprehensive progress tracking of your release. It'll give you precise feedback on the content review and approval process, and it'll create that integrated sharing capability, which is really exciting. So I'll do a very, very quick first look of the product, so that gives you a chance to see what we are thinking of and building. Okay, so this is, in this example, you are DJ Fluff, and your release is Old Dog New Tricks, right? So you've entered all your release information, you've entered your audio, your artwork is there, you've submitted it, you go directly into Release Tracker, and you easily see that submitted is lit up. So that's when you've submitted. So at this time, we are processing your release. We are also reviewing the release, making sure that it's valid, it is complete, and we can send it to the stores. Once that review is done, you will see approved lit up. So you don't have to ask that question again. So you know, okay, this is TuneCore is doing something with it. Next, after approved, it is sent to the stores. And you see that it's sent to the stores, and that's lit up. Then finally, sometimes it takes, the stores don't always make the release live right away, and sometimes you have a future release date, right? So that's when your release goes live. So when your release is live, we will have a state that says live, and it will show you the state of the release on 2 stores for now, Spotify and Apple, because those are the stores about which we have the most commonly asked questions, but we plan to extend that to more stores in the future. So, and you will also see that the release is live on Spotify on a specific date, and there's a live state for Apple as well. At this point, when the release is live, this is the shareable moment for you, right? So you can then take a look at your release, you have your artwork, you can select a snippet, like a 30-second, at most, 30-second snippet from any of your tracks in the release and share that. Now, if you use Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, you can share it directly. But if you're using a different social media, you can download this whole thing and share it as well. So that gives you a lot more flexibility. One last thing is now if your release does get rejected, and then you'll have to kind of make an update and resubmit the release, this is how the screen will look. It says it needs action, you make an update, you submit it again, it goes through the flow, and you get to track it all over again. And the same will happen if you need to update a release that has been distributed already and you make an update to the metadata, you will go through the same process and you see the same states. So that's the feature we're building. But I'm very excited for it. We'll launch it in February, but we also want to get feedback once it's launched and make it better. Maybe it'll answer some of the questions, achieve some of our goals, but we don't want to stop there. We want to make it better, and that's the same approach we want to apply to all the releases that we do in 2024. So with that, I want to invite Erica Clayton, VP of Operations and Artist Support, and I think all of you know her, and she will speak to you in the next section. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here. For those who are here in person, it's so wonderful to see so many friendly faces in the audience and familiar friends. For those of you who have joined us online, it's great to have you joining us here too. I've used the words joining us like 4 times in the last 2 sentences. I'm excited to be here. For those of you who I do not know yet, my name is Erica Clayton. I'm the Vice President of Artist Support and Operations here at TuneCore. I've been with the company since late 2019. I oversee 6 teams in 6 countries, including most of the teams that you've spoken to when you've had to reach out to us. That's Artist Support, Content Review, Fraud Prevention, Video Rights, who am I missing? Copyright Administration, and DSP Operations. My teams sit in 6 different locations around the world, here in New York, in Nashville, Mexico City, Paris, Mumbai, and Manila. Thank you. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but I'll take one. So what's most important, though, is that, like you, I am an artist. And I have been writing and releasing music, playing shows, touring, festivals, all of that good, exciting stuff that we know is really, really hard work for about 20 years. And I'm telling you this because what we're going to talk about next impacts me as much as it impacts you. And let me preface this conversation by letting you know first and foremost that TuneCore is on your side. It's our role not just to advocate for you, but also to educate and to influence the industry around the very super exciting topic of streaming fraud. Ooh. Streaming fraud is the act of artificially inflating your streams, downloads, follows, saves, etc., in order to gain algorithmic goodwill, to gain favorable search results, to gain higher placements in the charts. And you might think because you are not out purchasing streams yourself that you are not impacted by streaming fraud. That is not true. This is a multi-billion-dollar problem, and what's happening is because of the way that stores pay out using a pro rata model, there's a finite amount of money in the royalty pool. $2 billion is taken from the royalty pool by people who are intentionally committing streaming fraud. That has devalued your streaming rates. You get paid less as a result of fraud. $2 billion. I could do a lot with $2 billion. And you might be thinking that this is bots, this is scripts, and that's the way that it used to be, but streaming fraud has evolved recently. It's become highly sophisticated. There are fraud rings that show up at offices to intimidate, to make it so that we can't fight it, to put fear in all of our hearts around this $2 billion. Fraud rings are highly sophisticated organized crime groups. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I interact with them pretty much every day. And they've moved on from bots and scripts, and they're doing things like account takeovers, where it looks like these streams are authentic because they can log into your Spotify account, for example, listen to a release from an account that looks authentic because it has a long listening history, and then log back out as though they were never there. It's pretty tough from a listener experience standpoint as well, because now you have bad data in your algorithm too, and you're not going to get served up the releases that you should be getting served based on your likes. Got a lot of note cards, sorry. So there's a series of consequences that I think it's really important for you to be aware of when we talk about streaming fraud. We're going to talk about these three in particular. Oh, I'm going to move to the other side of the stage so you can see them. But as an industry, we're really trying to work together to solve this problem. There's not just one single solution, it's very complex. Last year, we were a founding member of the Music Fights Fraud Alliance, which is an organization of not just content providers like us, but also store platforms, licensing and certification organizations, and others in the industry who share the common goal of fighting fraud so that $2 billion gets back in your pocket. But what are the actual consequences? What's at stake for you? First and foremost, your account will get flagged at the store level. That means you are going to be blocked from accessing editorial opportunities like playlisting or curation. It's going to prevent you from getting marketing deals. It's going to prevent you from being seen. Second, you're going to lose more money. There are financial penalties being brought down from the stores. Sometimes it's in the form of a flat fee. Sometimes it's in the form of a reduced royalty rate. Either way, it's costing you money if you commit fraud, whether you do it on purpose or you do it by mistake, and we'll talk about that in a second. Third, and most importantly, you're going to lose your releases. They're going to be taken down by the stores. We cannot help you at that point. We cannot send them back to the stores. You are blocked. You cannot go to another distributor. The stores know who you are. They know who your releases are. You cannot scramble your metadata and try again. They know you. They've blocked you. And that's unfortunate. So it's important to me that out of these consequences, you really understand two important things. The first I just said, TuneCore cannot help you if you are caught committing fraud. Nobody can help you. You can't even help yourself at that point until you start fresh. And the second is that you're on the hook for these penalties, these financial penalties, whether you have committed fraud on purpose or it's happened by mistake. So why I'm raising this to you today is obviously we do not want you intentionally committing fraud on our platform. But more importantly, we don't want you getting caught up in a fraud ring by mistake. This happens all the time. I talk to artists every day who get stuck after their releases are taken down from stores. They don't know what to do. They tell us who they worked with. We're able to kind of provide a little bit of information on how this could have happened. But these kind of bogus marketing companies, they are great at marketing. And what do I mean by that? It's not that they can market your release really well. It's that they can convince you and me, regular people like us, that they are going to help us. But they're not going to help us. They're in our spaces. They're at our industry mixers. They are in our timelines. They're advertising to us on social media. They are scamming us in plain sight. I have to recommend, and I think you all probably know this and you do this already, but in case you don't, anybody that you work with, anybody that you do business with, please, please do your research on them. If you are engaging with a marketing company, be highly, highly scrutinous of what they're working on. Look at their history, look at their releases. Ask them to connect you with their other customers. Any legitimate company who's doing good, real work to help you grow your audience will not have a problem if you ask for this. This is very, very common. It's industry standard when you're vetting partners. If they push back on you, they're scamming you. Almost definitely. The worst part about it is that once your account does get flagged, after you've engaged with one of these companies thinking that they're legitimate, those companies are not going to be the ones who suffer. They are not going to be the ones paying your fees. They are not going to be the ones begging the stores to put your releases live again because you made a mistake. You are going to be the one who suffers. I am going to be the one who suffers. Other artists like us lose out on $2 billion as a result of people committing fraud on our platforms. I urge you to be careful. At TuneCore, we are actively fighting fraud. It is so important to us that you get to make as much money as you can, that you get the money that you have earned for the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into your releases. I know it is not easy. I know it is not cheap. I know you are up at night, late at night, working with your peers, working with your partners, putting your releases together, trying to have the perfect marketing plan, the perfect release day. And all of that could be gone if you commit fraud. But we are here with you. We are here to help you, support you, and to advocate for you when it comes to fighting fraud, because you deserve to be paid what you have earned for the art that you have put out into this world. And with that, I would like to thank you so much for your time and attention today. And before we go, I'm going to bring up our friend and head of hip hop, Papoose, to the stage to close us out. Papoose. Oh, no, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more until Papoose comes back. I don't know how I feel like I really dance? Vamp, yes, that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, what are some other things about fraud that we could talk about today? Thank you so much. Yours does too. Oh boy. So there's just a few more minutes standing between you and your next cup of coffee. I wasn't prepared to do stand-up today, but here we go. I am so excited to invite to the stage TuneCore's head of hip-hop, Papoose, to close us out. Papoose, welcome! It's great to see you.
Happy New Year, y'all. I know we head into February, but it's still safe to say Happy New Year, right? I'm always excited about the new year, so all my coworkers are gonna have to tolerate me saying that until around like March or some shit like that. It feel good, man. It just feel good to see so many people in one room, all focused on one common goal, independence, man. You know what I'm saying? Being an independent artist, it's a great thing, but it's hard, man. It's hard. It's a lot of challenges, you know. Typical artists, they walk into a recording studio that the record label paid for. They record the song, they done with it. When you're independent, you gotta invest into your own studio time. You gotta pay a producer to do a track for you. Sometimes you might have a homie or a friend who y'all got the relationship, you get your credit, he get his credit, y'all work it out. Most of the time, you gotta pay. Then you gotta pay to have your song mixed and mastered. Now, you wanna make sure you hire the right person for the mixing and mastering, because when your song plays on the radio next to some of the big artists, it won't hold up well if you don't got the right guy doing that. So sonically, you can hear the difference in that area. You also gotta invest into your marketing, your promotion. Like I can go on and on. There's so many different responsibilities as an independent artist. But at the same time, the struggles of being an independent artist, it's a blessing in disguise, man. You gotta look at it like this. Us artists, we're passionate about our work. We weird, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most artists are weird. We know, when we create it, we know exactly how we want it to be presented to the people. I'll give you an example. We got Kay Gardis over here. She got a new record coming out real soon. She got the red jacket on, y'all. Her record is called Two-Way Street. And we talking about the artwork, and she's like, listen, I know exactly. I want a two-way street. I want to be on one side with the pink hair. I want a guy on the other side with the Jim Carrey mask. Like, she got the whole shit laid out exactly how she wanted. So that's a benefit, because some of these artists, you got somebody telling you to talk like this, rap like that, dress like this, and interviews respond like that. When you're independent, you maintain that creative control to be able to express yourself exactly how you want it, down to the treatment of the video. Everything, you maintain all of your freedom of being yourself. And those are just some of the blessings of being independent. So I just want everybody that's here, man, always remember, it's a struggle, it's an uphill battle, but you gotta keep going, and you gotta stay focused, because there are a lot of benefits. Last but not least, you don't gotta share your profit with nobody. You don't wanna be out here busting working hard, and then you got to split your bread with the next person who just got their feet up all day. So it's not easy. You got to keep all those things in mind, and sky's the limit. You know, I'm real happy. This is my second year with TuneCore, and I got to say it feels good that I come into the office when we have these discussions and I express, because I'm an artist myself. Hey, this is what artists need. You know what I mean? This is what we want. This is what will be beneficial to artists. To sit here today and see so many of those great things implicated moving forward for this year, I feel like I'm doing my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk y'all to death. I just want to say we got some legends in here. Big shout out to Chic Luch in the back, man. We got big shout out to Jewel Santana right here in the building, in case y'all don't know. The list goes on. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, I'm going to bring back to the stage the brilliant Andreea Gleeson, y'all. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Awesome, thank you. It has been so incredible to have Pap join our team. He is so inspirational. He joined our executive offsite back in September, and some of the things that showed up here of the priorities we focused on is directly from his input. So he is really representing. Huge shout out to Pat. And I just, in closing, just want to thank you all. I continue to be so humbled when I meet our artists, how you all make us a part of your team. And that's how we feel. You met Erica a little earlier. A lot of the TuneCore employees are artists themselves. And I'm just feel so lucky because I feel like I have the best job in the world. I joined TuneCore 8 years ago, and when I did, I really wanted to spend most of my day doing something that drove impact, and was so inspired by the independent artist music community. I mean, in the early 2000s, the independent community was mixtapes being sold on the street, and then fast forward. When I joined TuneCore 8 years ago, it all came online, and we were going through this digital transformation of streaming. It's been such a privilege to be a part of that and to help evolve the company to continue to support you. So thank you for trusting us, and know that we are advocating for you. I hope that came through today. And we hear you, and we're keeping working to make TuneCore even better. So hopefully your tuned in was incredible, and we're excited to do another one of these again. You have an incredible start of the year. I can't wait to hear your music and to have an incredible 2024. Thank you.